Hi everyone, my name is Cherie Williams. I'm the founder and CEO at Veekle, the Caribbean's first peer-to-peer car renting platform. I'm also a certified public accountant that owns a company called Firm 1040, a tax and accounting company in New Jersey. I'm married and a mother of four. So let's dive in. So Veekle, as I stated, is the first Caribbean peer-to-peer car renting platform. And if you're not familiar with the peer-to-peer concept, just think of us as the Airbnb for cars here in the Caribbean. So what we're doing is allowing car owners to connect with travelers in a digital platform that's safe, efficient, and affordable. That's Vehicle in a nutshell.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. We got that. That was great. Okay. How did you come up with the concept of Veekle? Because you just said it's like the Airbnb but for car rentals. What does that mean? How would that even work? What's the concept behind it?
So I'll tell a little story about how I came up with the concept. So for me,
Right.
traveling back to the islands after I migrated to the US, I wanted to support the locals as much as I could. And so one of the ways I would do so is by renting cars from them when I traveled back home. The problem is, every time I needed to travel, I had to be texting friends and family, asking them if they know of anyone who rents cars. And there was this one year in particular when I couldn't find someone locally and I had to rent from the airport. What a nightmare that was. I spent 3 hours at the airport trying to get a rental. And so then it clicked for me that I simply just needed a better way to rent a car I liked from locals on
Mhm.
demand. And so that's how the concept of vehicle came about, is basically providing a platform for car owners and travelers to connect in the digital space. As I said before, it's like Airbnb, but for cars. So if a local car owner has a car that they're not using, or maybe they have an additional car that they like to rent, they put it on our platform. We provide the insurance for them. And so when travelers are coming down to the islands, they can find your car easily without having to text people, and they can rent it from you and you make some extra money. That's how the concept came about.
Okay, so we understand the concept now. It's about safety, it sounds like, right? You want people to be safe when they're renting cars and you want them to be able to find vehicles as well, right? But what's the difference between what you're doing with the vehicle and just general car rental as we know it? Because there's an industry in Jamaica for car rentals, right? Which is what you were using before. So, what's the difference now between what we have now come to expect and what you want to do with this new platform?
Sure. So when you think of traditional car renting, like you said, you get those types of cars from the airport. And so traditional car rental companies, they own their fleet, right? So they're the owners of the fleet. You're renting from them specifically. When it comes to peer-to-peer car renting, you're actually renting from an ordinary person, right? Which is not a new thing. So to say in Jamaica, we're just making it more
Mhm.
legal, or, more not underground in a type of sense. So it's that you're renting from a person, right? So a person with a vehicle. I would say another difference also is when you rent from a traditional car renting company, you're not really sure what you're renting, right? You may have an idea. They'll tell you, no, it's economy or it's mid-sized, but you really don't know what you're renting. When it comes to peer-to-peer car renting, you get specific details. You know exactly the type of car that you're renting, right? Which makes the experience that much more unique and much better. Another difference is the choices. Traditional car renting companies don't offer that many choices on a budget. If you want to say, if you want to find a BMW or a Benz or even an SUV at a traditional company, you're definitely going to
Mhm.
break the bank. When it comes to peer-to-peer car renting, you can find those types of vehicles at affordable rates. And so that's what we're looking to build in the Caribbean and starting in Jamaica.
Okay, so when you said I know exactly what it is that I'm getting, how do I know? Are you putting image pictures on the platform? What exactly? How can I go and like? Is it an app
Yes, so it's
that you're building?
Yes, so we'll have an app and it will also have a web version. So you're actually seeing the car that you're renting. You're getting all the details of the car, right? So you know what color it is, you know if it's left hand, right hand, you know the make, model, and year, you know how much miles it has or kms, you know whether it's gas, you know what, every single detail about the car that you'll be renting.
Mhm.
You will get that information. You'll also get to see reviews from other persons who have already rented from this car owner. So we're building a community, right? A trusted community where car owners come together and travelers to rent cars. So yeah, you'll definitely know exactly what you're renting.
So you said car owners, because the next question I was going to ask you is where are you getting these vehicles? So you said it's a community of car owners. How does that part work?
So, from an operational standpoint, anyone that has a vehicle that's less than 10 years old, and we're not necessarily taking every single vehicle, but for the vehicles that we are accepting on the platform, has to be less than 10 years old. And then you list that vehicle on the platform. So we're doing additional checks on the car owner side. So we're checking for, make sure that your registration, insurance, fitness, all of that stuff is up to par. Also need to have a tracking device on your vehicle, as well as insurance. So we ensure that the every single car that's on our platform has the proper insurance to rent to travelers. So yes, we are vetting car owners to ensure that we're building that safe space for travelers.
Okay. So with the cars on the platform, they're from individual owners.
Yes, individual owners. If you think about the Airbnb model, right? And if you ever rented on Airbnb before, it's individual owners who have homes that they're renting. The concept is similar. For cars, it's individual car owners who have cars that they like to rent out.
Sure. And so putting the cars, they can list their cars, or before they list their cars, they can submit their cars to be listed on your platform, and you do the vetting and you also do the insuring. So how does the process work for listing a car on the platform?
So first of all, when you sign up on the platform, so signing up is free. However, to either book or list, right, you first have to verify your identity. So we are checking
Mhm.
licenses, we are checking facial recognition to ensure that whoever is listed on the platform is who they say they are. So that's number one step. Number two, if you want to be a car owner, then you go through the listing process. And the listing process takes you through quite a few steps, right? So you're listing the basic details of your vehicle, you're putting in the description, you are, entering your pricing in terms of how much you want to rent your vehicle for per day. You're entering the location. The location is predetermined by Veekle to ensure no one is, going to anyone's house. So you put that in. You also have the option to deliver the car. So maybe you're in a rural area, but you can deliver it to Montego Bay Airport or, wherever it is that you'd like to deliver. So we have the option to do that as well. You can also determine whether you want people to instantly book your vehicle or you want to approve them before they book. So the car owners go through quite a few items to list their car. So once they've gone through all those items, they submit it, right? It comes over to us. And then we do all the check-in and the verifications. We contact the insurance company to ensure that they
Mhm.
have insurance. So we're doing more checks on our end before we actually approve this vehicle to be listed and published on our platform.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, and so there's an insurance aspect of vehicle now, and I think that could be the game changer with this platform. What is that? First of all, why did you think the insurance element was important, and what does it entail?
So when we first decided to come out with our platform actually a couple years back, we realized through surveys that one of the most important things for car owners was ensuring that their assets were protected, right? Because as you find, traditional insurance products currently in Jamaica does not offer private rental insurance unless you have like a certain amount of fleet that you're renting. So if it's a person with one vehicle, you're not going to find private rental insurance. So that was the biggest thing for us. And for Veekle, trust is like the cornerstone of our business, right? We want to ensure people have peace of mind. And so building a platform like this and building trust around it, insurance was a big deal. So we want to ensure that anyone who lists their car on our platform has the proper insurance in the case of damage, incidents, whatever it is, their vehicle is protected and they can sleep good at night. So with the insurance, what we've designed with our insurance partner, who will announce when we do our launch event, is we came up with an insurance product just for people who are going to be car owners on our platform. Yes, they do have to switch over to this particular insurance company if they're with someone else currently. However, it is coming at a significant discount for you to switch over your primary insurance. On the rental side of the insurance, though, you only pay for that when your vehicle is being rented. Okay? So let me repeat that. Primary insurance will be with our provider. However, on the rental side of things, you only pay if you're renting your cars. And so that was, we couldn't like back down on that deal. It's basically what I wanted from the start in terms of an insurance partnership, and we've gotten that. And so what you'll find is that when you're coming to us on our platform and you're listing your vehicle, you pay for your primary insurance at a discounted rate. And then for the rental insurance, you pay per day, right? If your vehicle is being rented. And that's the big game changer. That's a game changer because currently, if you're doing renting right now, you more than likely do not have insurance to protect you.
Okay, that's awesome. So who would you say, if I was to ask you, who is Veekle for? So we've talked about the owners, but before I even ask that question, does the insurance cover me, the driver? Is there any kind of insurance for me as the person who is renting the vehicle?
Yes, exactly. And that's, well, you are the one who will be driving the car, right? So, in essence, the insurance is owned by the car owner, but the insured is the traveler, right? So, if anything happens to the vehicle while you're driving it as a traveler, it's protected. There are also other benefits that come with the insurance that we won't necessarily get into right now, but it's a good package.
Okay. Okay. So if I was to ask you who is Veekle for, what would you say?
I would say overarchingly, I think vehicle is for anyone who is looking for an opportunity to achieve their goals, whether that is to save for retirement, save for school, for college, whether it's to, save for a nice vacation. If you want to achieve your goals, vehicle is for you. And we're doing so by allowing you to rent your cars on a platform that's safe, efficient, and affordable for travelers. On the other hand, if you're a traveler, vehicle allows you to, I would say, explore the islands on your terms in a different way, right? And when I think about myself and when I used to travel with my family, I would often look for, like a 8-seater SUV because I want to go to the country. And it was just out of my budget. I couldn't afford it from a traditional car renting company. And so it kind of limited what I could do, right? And so when I think of vehicle and the type of vehicles that are going to be coming on our platform, it kind of opens up that opportunity for you to now just explore, right? And rent a car, an SUV that you can afford so that you can have that experience when you're vacationing.
Sure. How are you going to attract? I don't want you don't have to give us your entire marketing campaign, but how are you planning to attract the caliber of vehicles, the quality of vehicles that you want on the platform? And then is it that you're going to do controlled pricing because affordability is a big part of the platform? So how are you going to reconcile quality vehicles, affordable pricing?
So that's going to be part of our review process in terms of pricing. While we don't control the pricing, we will offer recommendations on pricing, especially for vehicles that we think are, overpriced or not competitive with what you would rent at a traditional car renting company, right? So we'll definitely keep a key eye out on pricing. However, we don't want to limit individuals in terms of what they want to charge for their cars. And I think over time, you will find that the trend in terms of pricing will just kind of adjust itself because if your vehicle is
Mm.
overpriced and you're not getting rentals, you're going to come down, right? And so
Yeah.
we'll have some control, but not full control in terms of pricing. How we attract quality vehicles now is based on the strict rules that we'll have for our platform. So we ensure that all the vehicles are evaluated and inspected every 6 to 9 months, right? So that's one way of doing so. And also ensuring that, and I wouldn't say ensuring, but we don't want to limit certain types of vehicles on the platform because every traveler has a budget, right? So
Yes.
whether it's a high end individual or you're a low budget person, we want to be able to offer that variety for people to be able to choose from, right? When I'm traveling, if I live in the States and I have a BMW, maybe when I travel, I want to rent a BMW. So now you give them that option to live that lifestyle that they're used to, right? And be able
Mhm.
to afford it.
So it's going to be price appropriate for the type of vehicle.
Exactly.
Exactly. So you guys have been cleaning up the award scene, right? You've been winning awards left and right, and I want to know if if the excitement around Veekle, if when you go and you do these presentations, do you get the feeling that people are excited about these new things? I mean, you're winning, right? So is that evidence that people are really excited about this thing, that they're looking forward to it, and that they're ready for this kind of product?
Absolutely, yes. Everyone has been waiting on Vehicle to launch. As I stated before, we were just fine tuning the insurance aspect of things. But pitching for me is an art more than it is science, right? And so I try to tell the story to get the buy-in, right? And so when I'm done pitching, everyone should be like, why am I never think about this? This is an excellent idea. This is going to definitely work. And so pitching over time also helped me to develop my communication skills and how I present vehicle to investors and what do I say and how do I answer questions. So for me, it has been a learning opportunity as well as a brand awareness opportunity as well. So I would say 100% is a win-win.
Right. So tell us about some of these awards some of these wins, pitch competition wins that you've had, and how are those wins contributing to the successful launch of this product?
Sure. So my first real pitch competition was back in 2022 at FinTech Islands, where we came third. So that I would say opened up doors for other competitions as well as introducing me to potential investors. So from that competition, I was granted the opportunity to pitch in Trinidad. In Trinidad, we came first and we won 25,000 USD. So that was a
Yay.
big deal, right? That was a big deal for us. We also won a pitch competition right here in Jamaica, Kingston Beta. So that was with Ingrid, Riley, and team. And then I also pitched again with another cohort that I was doing where we came second. So all in all, I think I may have had like maybe 5 pitch competitions where I was top 3. And I would say pitch winnings and how they help the vehicle in terms of funding, right? So we're still self-funded. So any money that we win goes towards the development of the company and bring about brand awareness.
Sure. What do you want investors to know? First of all, are you open for investment? Are you looking for investment?
Yes, we are looking for investments now that we have the insurance company on board. We are raising 350,000 USD to bring our product to market effectively. In the coming weeks, we are launching a crowdfunding campaign that we'll look to promote to the public, right? So anyone who wants to be a part of our journey and wants to see us succeed would be able to invest in our company. I would say, from an investor standpoint, if we were to say opt for maybe one or two investors, we're looking for strategic investors that can help move the needle for Veekle much quicker than we could ourselves.
Okay, so what does that look like? What would a strategic investor look like? What are you wanting them to do?
So a strategic investor would essentially help to open doors, right? Help to open doors. So if we're looking to partner with certain types of hotels, they have connections, right? So they can open doors for us in that sense. If we're looking to branch out to another island, right? They can open those doors for us. So that's what a strategic investor would look like. Someone that can open
Okay.
doors.
So that sounds to me like you're confident that you can raise that initial funding from the crowdfunding activities that you're going to be doing. What's the value exchange for someone who would be interested in contributing through crowdfunding? What do they get in exchange for giving Veekle money to launch?
Okay, this is where it gets a little bit tricky in terms of startup funding. um, how do I explain this to an audience that may not know how startup funding works? It's hard. So it's hard to value companies at the early stage, right? You don't really have any real data to go on. And so the way we are raising that 350K is through what is called a SAFE. So it's like a simpler agreement for future equity. And so no equity is exchanged at the time of the investment. However, at the next funding round, when we have concrete data and we can actually value the company, that's when equity will be distributed. So, it's hard to explain it to an audience that may not be familiar with startup investing, but that's how we plan to invest. On the contrary to that, however, if we have, say, a particular investor who is interested and we no longer need the crowdfunding campaign, then we'll be able to negotiate equity shares at that point in time, which will be. I'll reserve that that equity percentage for a more private conversation.
For sure, for sure, for sure. So, for clarity, you're saying that when you launch your crowdfunding campaign, w- as someone who wants to contribute, it's a future equity,
Yes,
or I get future equity shares in Vehicle.
that's correct. That's correct. It's future equity shares in Veekle when we do decide to go to the next funding round. And the reason that works well for investors is because you get to invest in a company at the early stage and you benefit from the growth of that company. So it actually works out better this way than to do a straight equity percentage. But it's hard to discuss it without getting really deep into it.
Yeah, understand. So apart from, potential monetary investors, strategic investors, crowdfunding, and I'm guessing more pitch wins, right? So apart from that, what are the sustainability goals in terms of making the platform viable and sustainable over a long period of time? Because we know how some startups go. It's a big launch, they raise a lot of money, they do a lot of marketing, and there's initial interest, and then that falls off because there's no follow through strategy. So how do you what are some of the things that you're going to do to ensure that this becomes viable and it has longevity?
I would say the number one thing for us is to ensure that we're consistently creating value, right?
Mm-hmm.
And solving a real problem. And I think what startups tend to focus on a lot in the early stages is profitability, which is, I'm not saying not important, it's 100% important, but you have to create value for people and you have to be solving a real problem, right? And so we didn't just create a company for the sake of
Mhm.
creating a company. We did the market research, we did the financial modeling, and we saw a need. And so creating value is the number one thing for us, and continuing to innovate on what we've got. In terms of sustainability and how I think about Veekle and what else Veekle can do to ensure that we're not just a 1 year company, 2 year company, and we can actually have some longevity, is play a part in climate change and sustainability from that angle. So a part of our vision statement says that we want to ensure that every trip advances us to a greener, more connected Caribbean, right? And so that greener aspect, we can play a part in that as well. And I think about Veekle creating like this new era of personal mobility, right? And I'm sort of ambivalent when it comes to
Mhm.
ownership, car ownership. And so what you'll find as
Mhm.
Veekle progresses and enhances, and we're expanding across the region, is that you might see that car ownership dwindles down a bit and car sharing ticks up a bit,
Yeah.
right? And so the more car sharing you have, the better it is for air pollution and climate change. Another thing that we'll look to do as well is incentivize individuals for having EV type cars or fuel efficiency cars, right? And so maybe offering them a lower commission to bring those types of cars on the platform. And also just educating people on environmental issues and how they can help the environment to be much better. So I think Vehicle will be sustainable and also be good for the environment as well.
Where can we go to find more information about Vico? How are you generating a buzz around this new exciting thing that you're launching? Because this is very different from what we're used to in Jamaica. So how are you generating buzz around it apart from winning competitions?
Well, so far, everything I would say has been word of mouth, and me being on the ground and talking to potential car owners. That's how I've been doing it thus far. As I've stated before, everything has been self-funded. So, as you know, with any self-funded company, you're limited in terms of what you can do, right? So, you do things that don't scale. So, whether that's going on
Mhm.
Jamaica classifieds and searching up people who are renting cars here and call them, right? And say, hey, we have a platform that's going to be coming out. Are you interested in coming on board? So those are the type of things that I've been working on while I'm here in terms of bringing about brand awareness, and then eventually the PR will kick in a few months or so. And then what was the other question you mentioned?
Oh yeah, what were some of the things that you were doing to generate buzz around the launch of the product? The other question I would ask is how many vehicles are you actually launching with? How many vehicles are going to be on the platform at the time of launch? Can you say?
At the time of at the time of launch, we hope to have anywhere from 50 to 100 vehicles on the platform. We currently have a wait list of over 300, but at the time of launch, we're aiming for 50 to
Ooh.
100 vehicles on the platform.
Okay, so you have a lot of work to do to vet these people and get them insured and get them ready for the platform. All right. So where can we find more information about vehicles? So they see this video, they're interested, it sounds great, they want to support. Where do you send them for more information?
For more information, you can visit our help center, which we call the Care Zone. So it's carezone.vehicle.com. That will have every single thing you need to know about vehicle, everything.
All right. All right. So listen, I'm excited about it. I was excited about it from the beginning. I'm still excited about it now. I won't ask if there are plans on expanding into the Caribbean because you've not even launched in Jamaica yet. But what are some of the things that you would hope to see, or what are some of your more immediate or short term goals post launch?
I think short-term goal post-launch with any company is customer acquisition, right? And that trending upwards more than anything else. And people starting to talk about it, right? So word of mouth becomes more powerful than ads and, digital marketing and all of that stuff, right? Word of mouth marketing becomes powerful. So that's what we're aiming for in terms of post-launch buzz, if you want to call it that, is that word of mouth takes off, and we can definitely, hopefully, build a company that people will love, a brand that people are excited, that's, come out of a Caribbean person. I was born and raised in Jamaica. So, we want that excitement for our people, that we too can build something really good and really innovative. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking for.
All right, Cherie, thank you so much. Thank you so much for talking to me. Anything else you want to plug before you go?
For anyone who is interested in listing a car on our platform, can visit our comingsoon.veekle.com website to leave your name, your email address, and your phone number so you can be notified when we're going live to be a part of it from day one.